Hi everyone, Zoe here from Make It Crafty. I just wanted to share with you some ways that I colour in the background. The colours that I'm going to use are BG10 and BG72. The idea with colouring larger areas or blocky areas is to colour as fast as you can and as smoothly as you can. I like to colour with strokes, so I'm just going to start here, and you'll notice that at all times I'm trying to keep it wet, and I try and work in as large an area as I can in one stroke. And I've got my brush tip on a very big angle, so I'm getting as much of it down on the page at once. And you want to try not to go over what you've already done, because this is when you get your layers of lines starting, especially if it's already started to dry. I'm just going to turn it around here, and when I've got a situation like this, I start flicking back towards it and just a little bit over it, and then come back this way. You really want to have a good amount of ink in your pen when you do backgrounds like this, because otherwise you don't want it running out on you halfway through, and then you end up with blotchy scene. It looks like I'm starting to run out of ink on this one actually. One of my favorite colors. So the idea is that you want to color while it's still wet. And I can't continue with this. I've pretty much run out of inks. This is what happens when you run out of ink. The great thing about when using detailed images like this is when you've got some detail. If you notice, then I left that until last because I wanted to make sure all these lines were going to be good and mixed together. So now we can come back and do all these other little areas. Always leave them to the last. And that's how quickly I try and colour it in, to try and make sure that it's uniform. And now what will happen is, if you were to go over an area that you think looks patchy, you'll end up making that area look darker than the rest, because every time you put a layer over the top of another layer, it makes it darker. But let's say we wanted to make it look like it was darker here. I've got BG72, but if I put that straight onto my lightest color, it would be really, really dark. So you can do two techniques. There's the tip to tip. It's where you take your lightest color and you take your darkest color and you take some ink. I always usually take a little bit from the plastic. And I'm just going to add a little bit here, so you can see that it's picked up the dark on the ink, on the tip, sorry. And I'm adding that to the paper, and as it runs out, let's grab a little bit more. And you'll see what I'm doing is I'm trying to blend it up into the base coat that I've already laid down. So I'm using a flick technique, which is called a feathering technique. And what that means is that I'm starting off harder, but I'm flick as I go, move up. Another thing that you can do is you can use some plastic or an acrylic block, and you get your dark color and you just put a little bit on your acrylic. I don't think you can really see it because it's not really that dark color, but when you pick it up with your lighter color, you you should be able to see that that's picked it up now. And then I'm bringing that up. And by using the flick technique, by flicking it, I'm not having a heavy mark at the top where my tip and where my marker leaves the paper, so it blends nicely. I'm not being too careful, sorry. So I'm colouring all over the mushrooms. I hate that there's such a quick limit. 10 minutes, I can waffle on for ages. That's begun to make the image pop a little bit more by adding that darkness just behind the leaves here. So that's just an example of colouring in a background using just 2 shades, a lighter and a darker colour, and making the image pop just that little bit more. Thanks for joining me today, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye for now.